I think Trudeau is the worst that you can find in politics. It's a mean, evil, idiotic, sub-intelligent human being. And I think he has no limits for power. He can do whatever it takes for power, even destroy his own country, his own people. I think he's the worst, one of the worst human beings on planet Earth.
Alexa for Ribbon News, and I'm currently in Mexico City. And why I came all the way here? First of all, because conservatives have been demonized for so long by the society around the world. And so this weekend, CPAC, the Conservative Political Action Conference, took place in Polanco, Mexico. I had the chance to engage with Miklos Lukacs. He is the author of Neo-Antes. It's a book that talks about transhumanism. He has also extensive degrees in multiple universities around the world. So first of all, we talked about his book, like the transhumanism. We talked also about different societal issues, but since he lived in UK for so long, we talk about the two-tier policing that Keir Starmer is imposing on his population. So now I let you on the full interview, but beforehand, I need your help. Go over rebelcpac.com, chip in what you can, and now let's check it out.
Research for this book started in 2016, so I am one of the early adopters of this ideology and understanding it. The book was published in 2022, and transhumanism is it's a set of ideas, but it's also a movement, a social, a semi-religious movement. It's a mystic movement that seeks to improve in their physical, intellectual, cognitive, and even moral characteristics by applying technology directly to human beings in the search for three big supers, let's say super intelligence, super well-being, and extended lifetime, like immortality.
Firstly, can you explain what Neuralink is and what the goal of it is?
We put a chip in your brain to control your mind. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Concerns not alleviated.
Yeah, there you go.
So, of course, it's a mix of science fiction and science. There are improvements and there are advancements in research, in medical research, for example, that are achieving things that were impossible like 10, 20 years ago, like rejuvenation of cells and stuff like that. But we're still far away from those. But the problem is what motivates transhumanists. They start with a conception of a human being that is very, very negative. They conceive human beings as inferior creatures, as creatures that are not apt or capable of adopting the challenges of the 21st century and beyond. So we need to change for the sake of climate change, of inclusion, diversity, and tolerance. They have a very, very materialistic view of progress, and utilitarian view of progress. So they want to change human beings because we are not fit for that idea of progress. So transhumanism at the end is anti-humanism. It's the rejection of humanity because they hate it. And you can see what's going on now, for example, with the gender ideology, with the trans ideology, where they literally use innocent people that need help, that need compassion, that need support, and they use them just as guinea pigs for their experiments, for their economic well-being. It's truly, truly terrible.
It's not going in contradiction, because we see that some people want to involve the human being by using technology, but in another way they use social engineering
yes.
And they use some products like fluoride. We just find out that it lowered the QE of people. So where we are going towards, if we are trying to manipulate again and again in different way the human being?
Well, I would say that there are two ways of changing the human being. So by changing a human being, we must know what a human being is. A human being is a being that has a nature, which is specific to human beings. 2 eyes, nose, where we walk on 2 legs, we have affections, and the human condition, which means how humans live the world and experience the world. In contrast to animals, for example, we can rationalize, we can think in abstract terms, so we have philosophy. We are the only species that can register its past, so we have history. We are the only species that has aesthetic capabilities that are beyond what animals can do. We have works by Michelangelo, by Tintoretto, Picasso, art, novels, music, So that sets apart us from other species. Now the idea is that no, there's no difference between human beings and other species. They are talking even about non-human persons or sentient beings, which is a way of equally moralizing or equalizing in moral terms human beings and animals. So the first way of changing human beings is through ideology, and that's why they go through for our kids and our teenagers, by telling them that human beings in reality can be what they perceive they are. What you perceive you are is okay. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, a boy or a girl. No. You can be whatever you want. And then you come up with gender identities, which are endless. I can identify myself as anything, so the sky is the limit. And so you have that first part, ideological. And the second one would be technological. So for example, if a man thinks that he is a woman, and then, well, there's a body of thought that says that, yes, I can be a woman and it's okay. Well, then I'll go to the second stage, which is going to a surgeon to make a surgery, to change my anatomy through technology and become supposedly what I think I am. Well, at the end, chromosomes don't lie. You are still an XY person. But the idea is that you have an ideological change and then followed by a technological change. And that's how you redefine human beings. This is, I think, the major problem in the 21st century.
How we are now, and I think Canada is one of the worst country who have the most woke ideology, gender ideology, where people now just start transitioning. We see a lot of detransition now. How we were able to change the minding of a whole country that now there is nothing as a boy or a girl?
It's a very tricky question in political terms, because what you are asking me is to suggest how to combat this. Canada is openly a dystopian society. If Canadians don't understand where they are living right now, it would be very sad. But Canada is one of the least, countries where you have freedom right now. You're very unfree in Canada. And for example, what you were saying, how they are indoctrinating our kids at schools, or teenagers at universities, or youth. You were talking about the transitioning, but if you try to the transition in Canada, or you encourage that, you will go to jail. If you say that, if you go against your kids, seriously, your 8-year-old kid that says, no, I'm not what I am, I think I am this, and you say, no, you are not that, well, you are abusing him, because you are going against his true identity. Canada is one of the most, if not the most, dystopian society in the world. And I think of the truck drivers. I will just say that so I avoid problems, but, get your trucks, visit the cities, take your country back for yourselves. That's what I think should be done.
How do you see the man like Justin Trudeau? How you perceive him?
You're putting me into a lot of trouble. Well, this is a free media. Well, I think Trudeau is the worst that you can find in politics. It's a mean, evil, idiotic, sub-intelligent human being. And I think he has no limits for power. He can do whatever it takes for power, even destroy his own country, his own people. I think he's the worst, one of the worst human beings on planet Earth. And I hope he ends as he deserves.
And so how the people can actually be able to spread about the concern of where we are going towards to as a society, as the whole world, if one side of the story, the conservative side, the right wing, the people who are trying to ring the bell are being censored heavily.
The problem is that when you start closing all institutional avenues for expressing your freedoms and trying to dispute politically some agendas, when those roads are closed, it's like a boiling pan, or how do you call an olla? There will be a point where it will blow, and that's what I'm concerned about. Not only in Canada but in the UK, where you have seen all these after Southport, the events on Southport, where this black teenager, who the media portrayed as a boy. It's incredible. In England and in Britain, you had this burst of anger. And Keir Starmer, who is another guy in the line of Justin Trudeau. started, punishing citizens for expressing what they want to say. This is our country. We want our country back. We are not against immigration. We want controlled immigration. We want positive immigration, not the kind of immigration that, mature men ready for fighting, and this is the kind of refugees you have. So I think that, you have to recover that sense of nation, of pride. I think that's what has happened in the UK, in Canada. People have lost that sense of pride, that sense of, I would say, the response that they have. They have to fight for their country. Unfortunately, what will happen is, what I say is that there will be a point where it will blow, it will explode, and it could get nasty. And we should try to avoid that, but there's a point where you just cannot avoid these things. You have to fight for your freedom. Well, I can speak with a lot of authority in that sense, because I have lived in the UK since 2009. So I know what the UK was by then and what is now. And I can totally say myself, an immigrant, but one who contributes to the economy of the UK, one who pays taxes, one who speaks their language and respects their traditions and customs, who feels grateful for being accepted in such a wonderful country, England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, the United Kingdom. Beautiful place. Tons of history. Now they feel they are attacking directly the roots of that pride, It's bad to be British. It's wrong to be British. You are not inclusive. It's wrong to being white. It's wrong being Christian. This is not someone who speaks from what has watched YouTube. I have seen this in the UK, and I have seen how freedoms have been curtailed in the past years, especially, I would say, in the past 5-8 years, dramatically. Universities are not anymore spaces for free thought. In universities, you go to be indoctrinated openly by professors. The proportion between conservative and liberal professors and Marxist professors is just criminal. I mean, the amount of conservative teachers or professors is almost inexistent, because they have been kicked out, they have been ousted because of their political views. So you cannot speak your mind. So if you have that cradle of that nurtures these new anti-British British, what you will have is what you are seeing right now. There is a two-tier system. I have seen this. White people are treated differently, especially in big urban areas. You won't see these, for example, in the outskirts, in the outsides of the big cities, but big cities like London, Manchester, Birmingham, Edinburgh, they are totally corrupted. So yes, there is a two-tier system. This is absolutely true.
I've been sent here in Mexico City to cover the CPAC, the Conservative Political Action Conference. I came here because it was important for us to give the voice to those conservative leaders here in the Latin world. But of course, there were other speakers. But it's not cheap to travel all the way here, and I need your help, because all of you, we can do all this. Thanks in advance to go over rebelcpac.com to chip in what you can and to watch my report, my hard work on the ground. So I repeat, rebelcpac.com, and thank you for donating, same if it's just $1.